Hey guys, another video from the Anti-Nerd here, and today I'm gonna be reviewing the Maximum Series Spider-Man, a brand new launch from Hasbro Marvel Legends collection. I'm very excited to show this one. I pre-ordered on February 13 and it just arrived pretty much 2 months after that, which is April 16. I pre-ordered from Amazon and Pulse, and the Amazon one arrived first. So let's take a look. I didn't notice any damage in my box, and I'm very curious if there's gonna be any quality control issue. You can see the packaging. I was a little surprised because from the pictures I thought that the packaging was bigger, but it's really compact. It has this more Mafex style to it. I don't collect Mafex. I don't have any Mafex, but I was very excited about this Maximum Spider-Man, and I'm gonna be comparing with Renew Your Vows and Retro Spider-Man, which was the top one Spider-Man Marvel Legends for a while, and now a lot of people are saying that's the new Maximum Spider-Man. So let's take a look at this guy right here. He does come with a lot of accessories. I do think that that's one of the most important things about it. Let's have this guy open and remove him from the packaging. I would expect that they would put more stuff in the back of the packaging, but it's just very clean and has this image of Spider-Man right there. As we can see, it comes with two blisters, and wow, the accessories are really massive. So I'm gonna be discussing more to the end of the video the price controversy, but I do think that this Spider-Man comes with a lot of things. I think this is a 3D render, it's not a real picture, but it does look really good. Has a little like matte finished on it, and also the comic book panels inside are new and they have this matte finished, a little shiny to them. Very cool. One little detail that might be considered deluxe, but yeah, I like this packaging. I think it's a square, nice packaging that will go well with your other Marvel Legends. And let me bring this other guy to the game, because this maximum reference here of Spider-Man Classics, very cool. It's clearly based on McFarlane and even more explicit. The Toy Biz one from Spider-Man Classics Wave 1 comes with a McFarlane comic book. So this Maximum Series Spider-Man is really special because it does throw a little a throwback to the Spider-Man Classics Wave 1. Hasbro didn't mention McFarlane. They say that's a 90s Spider-Man, and I agree because a lot of artists that came after Todd McFarlane, they try to replicate that style of Todd McFarlane. So it doesn't mean that's necessarily a Todd McFarlane, although the spider on the chest really reminds me of specifically the way that McFarlane drew the spider. So really cool, but it's a 90s Spider-Man because a lot of artists after McFarlane, they did a very similar job because they were really influenced. Todd McFarlane, after Steve Ditko, after John Romita Sr., probably the most influential Spider-Man artist, right? So let's take all of the hands, the accessories out of the blisters so we can take a better swap, a more quick swap in all the accessories that this guy comes. And it is a little massive regarding the accessories, in my opinion. Maybe because the standard was so low regarding Marvel Legends. So let's take a look at the web here. If you have the old web, the one that came with the Amazing Fantasy that I'm holding right here, the quality of the previous one is so much cheaper. The new one has a better touch to it. It's you can move easily, but also the details, it's more thick. It does look more like a comic book web, a McFarlane web, while the previous one, which also came in the No Way Home 3-pack, was very much simple, that one. So I'm pretty happy with the ones we got. It comes with two, and it's easy to move around. It's like a rope. So the other one felt more plasticky. This one does feel more like it should feel. So one of the main features is the extra hands right here. They don't move, and I saw some people complaining about, but it's definitely nice that doesn't come with the gloves, right? It's a gloveless Spider-Man hand showing what's underneath the costume, the web shooters. And the tooling for those hands are pretty awesome. The controversial head right here, I personally don't have a problem. I think it reminds me of Toy Biz. I'm a Toy Biz fan. So it's really expressive. It's kind of wacky, a little cynical head doing the smile. I personally like it. I think they could have included more extra heads. Here's the griping hand, so you can hold the web or another things, and the wall crawling. So all the hands are new tooling from what I could perceive. Tooling is when they order a new mold for the plastic that's not a reuse. So the hands we were getting before, since Spider-Man Retro, they're all the same. They're all literally the same. The new ones from Maximum, they are a little smaller because the action figure is a little smaller. So props to that new tooling with the hands. I like it. So the crawling hands comes with two right here. They're really expressive. And there's the flipping hands. We get different flip hands. You can see that the toe here is more inclined, and the other hand is more bent. And when we compare to the previous flipping hands that they were including in every Spider-Man toy, the fingers are really straight, right, compared to the right hand over here of the Maximum Spider-Man. But also comes with a different flipping hands that I'm gonna show. Here's the shield. I think that's one of the strongest points because the shield's really well done. Comes with the scheme of articulation as the Captain America shield. Also this web effect. It doesn't feel cheap. It feels more quality than I expected. Also comes with a little stand. The quality of the stand is not great, but it serves its purpose. There's a little, almost tiny invisible hole in the web effects that you can attach, very discreet, but they do work. So these two web effects, they have a little hole underneath that you can attach the little stand. Pretty cool. So there it is. Let's take a look at the flipping hands with the web effect. It's like you pause it right at the moment that the web start to come off of this wrist. Very cool. One of my favorite things about this figure is these hands right here because it really adds to the character. It creates a more epic thing. And here's the spider sense. A lot of people complain that it was not yellow. I personally don't mind being red. I don't have a problem with it. It's very well done. And here's the extra head with the eye squinting a little bit that I want to talk more when I put the head into the action figure. So first time getting in hands the Spider-Man Maximum series. It's always different from the pictures, from the videos. So mine, what I could tell right here to feel a little bit, let me move it around. It does feel that the plastic is better than the previous Marvel Legends. Mine didn't come with any issue regarding quality control. The web lines are really well painted, and the butterfly joints, I can feel that they have way more range than the other ones, way more range. And the web lines, they feel in the chest more easily, static wise. And when you twist the arms like that, when you cross the arms, it's way easier and the range is so much bigger. But here's the main part, the drop in the hips. I was very curious about this one, and I was surprised because it doesn't have any noise. It just goes down very easily, so you can reach those crazy McFarlane poses, right? So very interesting, the hips. The static, it does look a little weird when he's standing because there's a little bit of a hole on his thighs, but the drop is so subtle you barely notice because there's no noise. It really works, but it's supposed to be used when you're bending the legs, right? Especially if you're doing crazy bends, like putting the thighs up on his head or some crazy spider pose. But my Spider-Man series came with a very deluxe premium quality, I would say. Look at the paint lines on the head, no problem there. There's a lot of web lines on this one. It very much looks like someone drew them. I know some people have a demand for being sculpted, the lines, but I personally don't mind because in the comics sometimes it does feel like there's no texture on the web lines, so I don't mind. Another complaint was the spider in the back. I think they did a good job. I mean, they have a few options that I can choose, and this one's clearly better than just leaving a little bit of blue. So they just completed the little legs of the spider right there, the top legs. So very happy how this figure feels in hand. The blue is a little too dark compared to the Renewer Vowels, but look at the web lines between them. The Renewer Vowels has way less webs. So it does have an effect of making the figure look more bulky. While the Spider-Man, since has so many web lines, it does feel a little more skinnier. He's not like super skinnier, but the web lines make him feel more skinny because they're so thin, right? So let's compare with the height of Renewer Vowels. Renewer Vowels is a little bit taller if you're not using the hip drop, but it's very subtle. The chest is as he's a little more bulky, a little more strong, and I don't think they reused a lot of things comparing those figures. I think for the Maximum Spider-Man, they did a lot of new tooling. Look at the arms, they're very different. The hands are smaller. The lower part of the arm is also smaller, a little thinner. So yeah, no much reuse right here. The range, let's take a look at the range because wow, it does have a lot of range compared to the Renewer Vowels. Let's bend the Renewer Vowels. It bends well, but not as much. We all know that the Renewer Vowels is a pretty solid figure, but this one, well, I think it's deserving the number one spot right now because it does feel a little more quality premium and it does come with a lot of things. But look at the toe. I was a little surprised that they create a new shape for the toe because the Renewer Vowels and the Retro, they're more pointy. I would say reminds me more of some comic books and some old Toy Biz action figures, the old toe. But let's compare the blue. If you have the Retro, you notice that this is already a very dark colored figure, but they went too far with this shade of blue. It's super dark. I like it. I think the Renewer Vowels has a little more of a proper tone of blue because it's a little more bright. But this one, it does feel very cool, more adult, more, how can you say, I don't know, more shady, more night. The range of the neck, as you can see, there's a lot of web lines through in the neck. It's pretty good articulation. There's a proper side there that you can twist the neck. If you rotate the neck, you're gonna notice. And wow, the butterfly joints are very much a surprise to me. They go so far. So let's make a few quick poses here. Very happy with this one because mine came with no problems at all. No problems at the packaging, no problems at the figure. So very interesting to see that because it's very different from looking reviews and comparing the pictures and having the figures on hand because action figures are made for you to actually play with them, to touch them and see how they feel in your hands. And this Marvel Legends is way more resistant to Mayfax. I can throw this Maximum Spider-Man in a wall and I bet it's not gonna break. It probably won't even hurt the painting. So let's put this, my favorite set of hands, the hands that are coming off the webs. Very clever making the hands that you, instead of you attaching the webs or making a weird hole that people would complain, they just made a new set and it does look very cool. Because the comics, sometimes, you know, you get the feeling that comics are just a small second, a small frame in the middle of a complex movement. So I think action figures, they have to simulate that. And this idea of the web coming out of his wrist is very clever. I think they pretty much did a good job on this one. The butterfly go way back. So let's switch the head right here. And it's a little stuck. But let's put the other hand. I was a little surprised. I thought that the difference was gonna be smaller, but in hands you can see that, yeah, it's really different. He's definitely squinting the eyes more and has a beautiful reflex there in the blacks that it's just like the comics. I don't know how they did it, but has this glow to the painting that makes the figure stand out. And in the eyes right there, really cool. So he's supposed to be with the spider sensor on this one. Let's try in the Renewval's head. Doesn't quite fit. Retro also don't fit because the heads are way bigger than the Maximum Spider-Man. So let's just leave it with the Maximum Spider-Man. Let's switch the heads and see how the Peter Parker head goes on this one. I know many people have a problem with this head. I personally think it looks really good, really expressive, really different. I think it's both. I want to try the animated head in a few minutes. But yeah, very cool. Let's try also one of the main features here, the gloveless hands. So a lot of people complain that the hands are too big. I think that it's better than being too small. Definitely would have been worse if they were too small. And the hands are really expressive, important part of Spider-Man. So I don't have a problem with that. I think it reminds me more of Humberto Ramos' big hand style. But yeah, they don't move. I almost forgot this, and after I made the video, I tried to articulate them, to move them, I almost break it. So I have to remind yourself, they don't move. They're supposed to be like that. I think it was because the aesthetic of the web shooters, because the web shooters look really good and they're different, right? One of the hands is doing the flipping web shoot and the other one is just like preparing or about to adjust something. I don't know. Looks really good to me. I think that you do get a lot of customizing options within the box. The web effects are not quite my thing, but I do appreciate them. I think they're well done, especially the webs. But what really sells to me, the strongest part, it quite doesn't match the animated head. Not a great idea. The shade of the skin is not the same, so I would have to put the glove back. But he has this long neck that quite doesn't fit. Because the other heads, I think the Maximum Spider-Man comes with a little hole that the animated head doesn't quite have. So let's try the retro head. I'm not even being able to fit this, so I will just give up. And the shade of red is not quite the same, so, you know, not really worth it. Let's try one of my definitive Spider-Man right here, the VHS with the Ben Reilly big head. I really like this head. Let's see how this one feels on the Maximum Spider-Man. I think will look a little too big. Not horrible, but it just feels a little off, as this is like a manga version, especially with those big hands from the version where he doesn't have any gloves covering the hands. So very manga style. Let's put the Maximum head back. Yeah, does feel a lot better, more proportional. Very cool, very impressed with the quality of this figure. I thought that wasn't gonna beat Renewval's, but yeah, it does feel more premium than Renewval's, and the articulation is, as they said, brand new sculpting, brand new system. I mean, system's a little too much, but this part right here of the lower arm, definitely cooler. Definitely can see that they put more effort so people wouldn't criticize, but still people criticize the price. So, you know, if they made a cheaper figure, people would criticize the quality, but now they gave us a premium figure and people criticize the price. I don't think that the controversy is as much as a big deal as people say, but I'll comment that a little more to the end of the video. So let's put the crawling hands. Very cool, very good figure. If you're a Spider-Man fan, I would recommend to get this one. If you get it for retail price or if you just have the money, really depends on your financial context, but I think it's worth it. I'm very convinced that the Maximum Spider-Man is probably one of the top action figures of the year of 2025. So what else can we say? Oh, the height of the web effect right there, it's a little off. Should be a little more taller. Do you remember Marvel vs. Capcom? I think that they had a move which Spider-Man used the web shield. So some leaks say that they're gonna release Marvel vs. Capcom 2 packs. I'm not sure, but maybe this is a reference to them. I don't know. It does look very, very cool and well done. Does fit the character. It's creative. I think they could have gone crazy with the web effects, but they went safe. So let's compare with some other Spider-Man universe characters, especially from the animated. That's the version I have. Aunt May, Mary Jane, and Doc Ock from the comic especially matches really well the Spider-Man. Really like those two together. Green Goblin from the VHS. Not the best Green Goblin, but good enough. So let's take a look at the Toy Biz right here before we move on. So this battle damage used the same sculpt as the Wave 1 Classic, but of course there's the damages on his costume. I want so much a Maximum Spider-Man with a battle damage costume. That would be so incredible, but doesn't need to be maximum. Any battle damaged, I would take it easily. So interesting to look. This is 25 years later, the first Toy Biz mode, the 6-inch that changed the action figure history, and now the Maximum Spider-Man, which is the most updated Marvel Legends action figure that we have, and I think it's gonna take a long while for them to upgrade this body mode for Spider-Man, and they're probably not gonna use it so much because I think they will try to keep more exclusive to this one. They're probably gonna release a Symbiote Deluxe maybe next year, maybe 2 years from now, I'm not sure, but I think they're gonna try to save a little bit so they don't reuse it as much, because I think they reuse too often the retro body mode and people start to criticize, and it was actually a pretty good mode. And the renewals seems like it's the same from the retro but pinless, but no, there's some changes there, but this one you can definitely feel a lot of changes regarding the body mode. So I don't think they're gonna reuse that often, but you never know. So yeah, Spider Sense, a lot of accessories. Is it worth the $50? I think it depends. Look, inside the US, this figure costs 50, which in some states pretty easy regarding the hours. You don't have to work many hours to get this figure. But at the same time, $50 can buy a lot of things. That's not that. But guys, you have to remember, this is getting to a point where it's an expensive game to be on top, Marvel Legends. You gotta work hard. You don't have to be rich, but you gotta work and have money to be able to buy the new figures, because they're getting more expensive. In my opinion, they're getting better. We don't know if the line is gonna continue forever. We actually don't know, because there's so much hatred regarding Hasbro that I think it's a little exaggerated. But yeah, not cheap. But at the same time, look at the states of California or New York. You have to work like 4 or 5 hours to get that money. So it's doable. Is it worth it? That really is up to you. But other countries that the figure comes with a $70, $100 price tag, I'm not so sure. I think that's a little stretch because it's a lot for a figure. But you're getting a premium quality with this Spider-Man. Absolutely quality on this figure. Very surprised with the web lines here, all the looks of the Spider-Man. It does look very, very good to me. But I think people are trashing too much the figure. There's no real controversy. They made a good figure, it cost more, but I think the main point with the cost, with the price, was they expected the stock to be in stock for longer. I mean, it's sold out on Amazon, but I think that the purpose of having a higher price was to guarantee that the figure would be available for longer than the other Spider-Man figures that are $25 and they sell like this, like water, like in a week. So this one, whoever said that it was gonna sink and it's gonna be a peg warmer, something like that, really they bite their tongue, because this figure was a massive hit. There's already people charging like $100 on eBay because it's not available everywhere. And I think that Hasbro proved that Spider-Man is really popular. There's a lot of people that don't collect Marvel Legends that are into Spider-Man, that they probably got this figure. Also, this figure, for maybe a lot of resellers, they saw potential of being double the price and you'll be able to profit more with it. So I think retail price in the US is a fair price if you have the money to do it. I think it's worth not to get a few Legends and get this one if you're really into Spider-Man, because it's one of the main characters. Of course, it was gonna sell more than Hulk, than other characters. Spider-Man is really popular. So yeah, I think that their plan with making the figure more time available, I don't know if it's really gonna happen because it's selling a lot. I don't know if there's gonna be a restock on Amazon. I think it will, but I'm not sure what they're gonna do with it. I think they're gonna produce more of this figure, and they're gonna keep producing, and the price gonna maintain at 50 for now. And if the tariffs really impact the business, maybe they won't even produce more, or they will higher the price, which will make the figure more available, and then you're gonna see the figure at a GameStop. But then doesn't make, in my opinion, doesn't make sense to them to put on sale if it's not selling. I think it's a figure that's supposed to be available. Let's say you're a kid, you're new to the Marvel Legends collecting, and then, you know, as a special gift for your birthday or Christmas, it's worth it. So this figure has a different target audience, I would say. Not only Marvel Legends collectors, but people that could be interested in getting the perfect Spider-Man figure. And I want to say something before I close the video. You, Marvel Legends fan, you are responsible for this figure. It doesn't help you to trash Hasbro because you are responsible. You made this monster. You complained about every Spider-Man figure and you demanded on your comments the McFarlane, the 90s Spider-Man. They did it, so you were responsible. Not only Hasbro, Hasbro definitely reads what the community is saying about Marvel Legends and Spider-Man, and they try to give what fans wanted. Yes, the price was higher, but then those figures, the Walmart exclusive, the Renew Vows that I'm showing right here, which you can see how weird it looks in some poses comparing to the Maximum Spider-Man, which it's more detailed, the articulation of the Maximum Spider-Man. But those figures like the Renew Vows loose outside of the 2-pack, the Walmart exclusive, the Retro Spider-Man, which also Retro Spider-Man people don't talk about. It was released $20 and it came to $100 before they released new ones. So it's worth to get Maximum Spider-Man for $50. Comes with a lot of accessories, way worth it than getting the $50 aftermarket on those old figures. That's my opinion. So I'm gonna give a grade 10 out of 10. Really happy with the Maximum Spider-Man. Keep watching Anti-Nerd, and a lot of reviews coming, and thank you for watching. Bye bye.